for Robert. How will ApeCoin feature in the future of Yuga Labs' other side, Bored Apes? So how can we use ApeCoin in this situation?
I don't have a good enough answer for you on that. So I haven't seen the white paper be updated, at least recently. I know that ApeCoin is still active and still running, but as for its role in, so I focus mostly on other sides. So Token Gamer is a sort of gaming technology website. So I focus primarily on the gaming side and the Metaverse side. As for Yuga Labs and the Bored Ape ecosystem, I can't say. So unfortunately, I can't really shed any light on that.
That's all right. It's just interesting. I've used, what's that, Mona?
No, I was just going to say, I think, to be honest, a lot of numbers are down for Metaverse tokens. And I think that's why a lot of projects are really, really focusing on the utility and what, what experiences people are going to want to see after this bear market, because the ones that last through this, they need to bring something very substantial to the table. So what I am seeing, especially in Decentraland right now, and by the way, if any of your viewers want to get a tour, I will share the person who is giving currently tours of the entire Decentraland, so people can see what the experiences are. But right now, the community of Decentraland is fully focused on experiences. And I think, if you see their roster, it is events after events after events. And they're really honing into what does the average user want to experience there and see here. What are we really offering here? When I was at the Salsa, they have this thing like now in the Metaverse, you have to get consent. I don't know if you guys know this, but to touch another avatar or dance or put your avatar hands on another avatar's hip, you have to ask for consent. Did you guys know that?
That makes sense, because I'd heard something was also happening in the first round of the Metaverse, where there was a lot of inappropriate behavior. So I can see why that would actually come to fruition. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is all about experiences right now. And I think that's what's going to set Metaverses apart. What is this Metaverse offering? I read an article in Forbes, and Forbes said in 2030, every business is going to have a digital representation of their services, just like back in the day when every business needed a website. I don't know if you guys recall, but businesses were like, why do I need a website? And then they realized that it's a necessity, right? So now a digital environment that provides your services is, let me think of a doctor's office, right? Think of a real estate office. Your people are going to want to go into your virtual experience and see the home, or be seen by a virtual nurse. So just part of those experiences is what we're talking about here.
Sounds good. And then before we were going on, somebody said something about the tokens are down, and that reminded me to take a look real quick. Let's take a look at those tokens. So everybody, if you go to CoinGecko, I think there's a CoinMarketCap as well. .com. If you go to categories, and this won't be totally correct, but if you look up Metaverse, number 21, you can see all the tokens that what CoinGecko believes is part of the Metaverse. One of those is an ICP. I don't know if that's true. Render looks more like an AI play, but we can see that Sandbox is actually doing not bad. 7% up for the week.
I interviewed the co-founder of Internet Computer Protocol. I'm not sure it's really a metaverse, but they are focusing more on gaming. So perhaps the Sandbox is a very strong example.
Sandbox, and their backing. I mean, they got a huge backing.
Yeah, look at Floki. I don't know if that's a metaverse, but it's up 43%. So yeah, Merit Circle. I have no idea what this is. 35%.
Decentraland, by the way. Before you move on there, Rob, Decentraland pretty much has put everything in the hands of the community. So the community is building Decentraland right now, and they're just filling it up with events and experiences.
Maybe that's the new job that we don't know that we didn't have, which would be someone as a tour guide into these metaverse spaces. See?
Yeah, Odd Job at Odd job is the tour guide for that metaverse.
There you go. Imagine if you did a tour of Decentraland or Sandbox, and you got paid in the token itself. And after like a couple of years, there's a massive appreciation. Could be the full-time gig. Yield YGG.
It's a Bitcoin story.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of those things like people. I mean, we worry about the technology is going to take our jobs. I remember before the internet, and of course when the internet came about, we all thought, well, that was it. All types of information, and all our jobs will be gone, and it'll be sucked up by the internet. And a lot of jobs were, but then there was jobs that you had no idea actually existed before the 90s. Like, what the hell would you do with an SEO operator, search engine optimization, and you got to do something with Facebook ads and online marketing? What the hell is that? So like, as we move forward with technology pushing us into this direction, there's jobs that'll come out, there's opportunities that'll come out. It's just finding those opportunities. And guys, do you know any of these other projects? I know Star Atlas. That's Web3.
Star Atlas is good. Awesome. One of them graphically.
You're still Star Atlas bullish, Rob?
No,
I wouldn't say bullish. I'm very reserved, but it's a beautiful, beautiful sort of online space, and they've got a lot of investment behind them.
Yeah, so not bad. So if you guys are looking for, you there watching the video, if you're looking for something to do more research on, not specifically invest into, there's a way to take a look at that. All right. So what else do we miss, everybody? Or was that the big stuff? We've actually gone 35 minutes here talking about.
Wow, time goes by fast.
Time does go by fast, but it was good.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm very excited that you're actually introducing this idea and this topic to your audiences, because I know you guys are more on a very DeFi, and I actually, Rob, learned everything I know today from listening to you. So to be here today is almost like a deja vu moment for me. So thank you for broadening people's horizon and letting them know that there is a technology here that people should pay attention to. And I really believe that those who take a look at the metaverse and look at the technology, they can capitalize on it now, today. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of, how many metaverses will there be? Who's going to be leading, and what advancements have they made? So I just want to let your viewers know to keep an eye on the metaverse. Excellently said. And Robert, anything else before we take off here? Or actually, we're going to do a little Q&A if you guys want to stick around. We'll answer all people's questions if they have anything. But anything before we jump into the Q&A?
No, I guess not really. Just that gaming, as much as gamers and traditional gamers are very resistant to blockchain being integrated to the use of NFTs and stuff. The utility is undeniable, and we are starting to see more and more examples of it. Particularly, there's a game right now called NFL Rivals, which has like 3 million downloads. It's licensed by NFL. It's officially licensed product. It's chock full of blockchain and NFTs and P2P marketplace in the app. We're seeing lots of success stories, but they are subverting crypto language a little bit more. So you got to keep your eyes out, because you'll spot more success stories in a lot broader areas, I think, now. Exactly. And you know what? It's a very fast moving industry. So everybody try to pay attention, get some information as best you can. And for that, of course, for Metaverse, Web3, different place, you can find, not Yatsu, you can find Robert Braggs at Token Gamer, YouTube, link in the description. And of course, Metamona for YouTube channel and Twitter. And of course, also the Token Gamer website, link in the description. So everybody, Rob, Mona, thank you for stopping by. Now let's jump into a little bit of Q&A, and we'll answer everybody's questions to the best of our abilities, and then we'll get out of here. Enjoy the rest of the day. So let's see. CryptoJet, first time catching the live show. Boy, did you pick a winner. Good for you. Let's see. In the room. Now, Meme says, welcome. Thank you for the guests. Yes, thank you, guests, for stopping by.
Anytime. If you guys If we get an invitation, we'll be back. But let us know what you want to hear. What do you guys want to know about the metaverse? Do you want to hear about projects? Do you want to know what we like? I mean, both Rob and I, are in the trenches. We're talking to founders. We're talking to builders. So let Rob know what you guys want to learn more about. And next time we come in, we can make sure we come in with what you want to hear and see.
Yeah, exactly. Let us know in the chats, or of course you're watching the replay. Just put a comment below and we'll check those out. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. It's off the algorithm. Hey, recap your opinion on whether Bitcoin will reach 60K again before it levels off. I've got a pretty good idea that Bitcoin will not go straight up in a vertical line. There will be some pullbacks. So that's my guesstimation. Anybody want to chime in on this one?
No, I'm not touching that.
So are we 90% yes by January 10, Rob?
That's what they say, 90% by January 10th. And I felt that Gary wouldn't cave because I thought he was working hardcore for the White House, but apparently there's just too much against him, and maybe he will approve it. So if it does, we'll see how it works out. I'd rather be, like I said before, wrong and rich than right and poor. So let's see.
So you think it's going to be a short-term spike and then retrace back? That's your...
No, I didn't think it was like for this question. I think we'll have pullbacks because we don't ever usually go up in a straight line. Even 2021, we saw, pullbacks of 20%, 22, 25. But for the ETF, I didn't think it was going to get approved at all. I thought March would just blow right by. That was my thinking. But it looks like it's going pretty good. Let's see. It will bounce off the 200 moving average for a bit. Sure. Larry Fink is here. I doubt that very much. I'm sure he's got plenty to do with his trillions of dollars than to stop by my channel. But I mean, why not? I'm sure Gary Gensler stops in. Yeah.
Oh, that would be epic. Bring him, please.
Yes. Darth Mike says the best metaverse play could be a layer 1 like Solana, or layer 2 like Arbitrum or Matic, as if they get adopted by some of the larger established game companies. Yeah, I guess. I don't know about that one.
Rob, Matic maybe, no? Solana?
I definitely like Polygon. I'm a very big fan of Polygon. They have the finger in a lot of pies and they do it well. Solana obviously took a big hit. They've had a lot of teething issues with network scalability, which when we talk about the metaverse, does feel like a weak link. But I agree. I think it's an interesting question what the established game companies will do when it comes to which blockchains they opt for, or whether they perhaps build their own. Who knows?
One of your comments said, I would love to drive a Ferrari in the metaverse. I want to let you know 2 things about that. Yes, you can actually ride a Ferrari in the metaverse right now with Upland. And Ferrari, starting, I think, this month, is accepting crypto. But if you want to spend all your crypto on a Ferrari, they are booked until 2025. However, Honda is also, actually, Honda came out and said, people were saying you can buy a Honda with crypto, but they came out and said, no, we're not accepting crypto, but you can use intermediaries to buy Honda, Nissan, Mercedes. I think it's through FCF Pay. You can purchase those brands. But yes, you can pay with crypto to buy your Ferrari, and you can drive it in the metaverse.
Sounds good. Yeah, get those vehicles, and maybe at some point, maybe you'll be able to buy Tesla again with some crypto whenever Elon Musk decides to drop that. We'll see. And yeah,
he actually was the one that started it first. He stopped it because of environmental concerns. But yeah, he was the one that started it first.
Good old Elon. That should be the real indicator. Just follow what he tweets out. Michael says, Porsche, please.
No, it says Ferrari. No, I want a Honda. Hey, it's more affordable. Why not? You could probably buy 10 of those.
Web3 says he likes Matic. We all like Matic and not Sol. I like Sol. I like Solana. But according to Decrypt, Starless, But according to Decrypt, Star Atlas Metaverse on Sol is doing more transactions than the whole Matic chain. I guess the question then would be like, what kind of transactions are they? Are they the voting types of transactions? Are they like wash trading with NFTs? And really, what actually is it? Because you can do a lot of things as far as transaction wise to game the system.
Also, so just to be clear, I like Polygon and Solana, and I've worked with both of them. I just, at the moment, probably prefer Polygon, but Solana has some brilliant things, like Fractal was built on Solana, which I'm a big fan of. As for Polygon's transaction numbers, it's always been a little bit unclear. And Solana, as Rob just said, Solana's numbers have often been accused of being a little bit inflated. So I don't know how much to take on that, but they're both brilliant blockchains, and I'm certainly not criticizing either of those. I think they're two of the front runners.
I gotta agree. Yeah.
I'm very bullish with. I have all eyes on Disney. Anyone that Disney is collaborating with, I got my eyes on them. We got Polygon. We got a lot of digital collectible partnerships right now. We got Marvel partnerships. I know Rob is probably not gonna like have my back on this one, but I am really into digital collectibles right now because I think people are finally, their ears are perking. And when you say digital collectibles, because everyone loves to collect. And so I'm looking at those types of projects.
Yeah.
And those are all Disney partnerships.
Yeah. And then Michael said, is there a site where we can look at that measures transactions in a real way? Well, they all measure transactions, but there's one that you can take a look at called Solana FM. But the one that I like to take a look at is this one, and for some reason it's down. And Solana, it's analytics, that's solscan.io, and it'll separate between voting transactions and all other transactions. And if you can see that if it ever pops up, that the voting transactions usually far, far, far outnumber. And of course, voting transactions could be just anything that it is. So again, just Google SolScan, you'll find that one and go from there.
Someone said Disney have lost a little of their magic at the moment.
That's true.
Disney's never losing their magic, guys. That's never going to happen.
Mona, are you kidding me? Have you seen some of the movies they've been putting out? Just look at the box office numbers. They're awful. So anyhow.
Yes.
Let's see. Like the like button and what else?
No, I'm not all in on Disney. But NVIDIA, yes.
Sure.
No financial advice.
NVIDIA is one of the big 7 for the S&P 500. 7 companies hold up that whole thing. NVIDIA is one of them. Passive Income says all SEC ETFs reviews are by January 10th, but they can't extend that date. That's true, but if we take a look, there was, whoops. Let me pull up all the deadlines, which would be under the E's. There we go. So deadlines themselves. So you have to understand there's even more than this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there's actually 10 now, 8 or 10, as far as all the different big institutions that are filing for the ETFs. And ARK, with Kathy Wood, their third deadline is coming up in November. The final one is January 10th, and that's the first one. Everything after that is, again, March 15th. That's the final deadline. I always find it interesting that the government says, here's your deadline, but this is your first deadline. Okay, this is your second deadline. It's your third deadline. I did it with my kids. That'd be weird. But that's what they have, so we'll see how it works out. But I believe it's like March is the last one that we can see. And,
you have a good question here. I don't know, me or Rob, whoever wants to address this. Linking with Nas is asking, why does so much of the public seem to be resistant to the metaverse as well as cryptocurrency and NFTs to record ownership? Great question. What can be done to change this? Rob just wrote an article on this. Rob, do you want to hit this?
Sure. So why... Honestly, I have asked the question when it comes to, I'm not always going to talk about gaming. That is my background. But when it comes to why gamers are so resistant, I just don't know. It picked up steam very, very early that it was a scam, like before there was really much evidence on that. And there was just there was just no going back. It got a lot of steam and it didn't really roll back on that front. What I wrote about recently, what Mona's alluding to, is the resistance towards NFTs. It kind of had its time in the sun where people, I mean, you've seen what the mainstream media loves to do with everything. They build it up, they build it up, they build it up. And then when it gets to a certain point, it hits critical mass, they start tearing it down. And we saw that with NFTs. It was interesting until it wasn't to them. And then when the positive news doesn't get clicks, they start making it negative. And I think there's just this air of it was a fad, it was a scam, because people aren't focusing on the utility of the technology. And like you say, record ownership, it's just so useful to us. And it provides a solution to a problem we've had since the digital era, which is we can't prove we own anything digital. So as for how we get past it, I think I express this in the article in two ways. Either you suggest we subvert it a little bit by not using crypto jargon. We call them digital collectibles, for example. We don't call them NFTs. I prefer to think of that as just moving the technology to where it should be, in the background, doing its job. It doesn't need, NFTs don't need to be the USP of everything that uses NFTs. It should just be doing its work in the background. I mentioned on a call earlier that when I look at games, I don't care about their server architecture. I just care if the game's good. And blockchain should be working in that way. It should just be in the background, helping to move things forward and doing its job. It shouldn't be a unique selling point, front and center. Like the whole concept of an NFT game, a Web3 game, a blockchain game, really it should just be that game has blockchain and it's a game. I mean, it's either fun or it isn't, and blockchain can't really change that. It can just infuse the gameplay, and that applies to everything, not just gaming. That would be my stance.
Yeah, which would come back to this one. Oh, sorry, Mona. Need a compelling game. What's the compelling game out there?
There's a few. I think so. NFL Rivals is a great example because it's just doing so well. We've got there's a lot of good games coming out. Metalcore, I think, is probably my favorite choice. I also I was in the friends and family test of a mobile game called Guild of Guardians, which is a very big project on Immutable. Incredible amounts of fun. I got fully addicted to it. So I would suggest that's one of the good mobile options. NFL Rivals and Metalcore would be, if you want the big AAA shooter experience, I would put my money on that one. Got it.
Mona, what were you going to say?
Again, to answer that question, at least from my view, I think crypto came in, kicking the casino door open, right? And it came from that angle. And that just really brought in a plethora of bad actors. And that was our first impression to the public. And so they right away, perceived crypto as a casino gambling thing, right? And slowly, I think what Rob said, we have to change the language. That is one first step that we have to make. We have to change the language. And then, the other thing I wanted to say on the NFT side, I think we're also seeing, especially in the metaverse, we're also seeing this divergence in how NFTs are being viewed right now. On one hand, they're being valued for their art and history, right? We're still seeing that. On the other hand, they're being valued for their community and intellectual property. A good example of that would be CryptoPunks versus Rob's example, Bored Ape. CryptoPunks are being exposed to top museums and collectors, and those collectors are starting to see the value of owning the original. Remember this, some of these NFTs, and I'm not saying all of them, but some of them, there's going to be something worth if you're holding the original, right? Like the baseball cards. Meanwhile, a project like Bored Ape holders are creating a community. I read that more than 900 holders of apes are building businesses on top of apes. So while NFTs are a big part of the metaverse or the Web3 space, we're seeing this divergence that really differentiates the utility versus is it a piece of art or what technology is it bringing to the table. So the more defined that becomes, the more palatable and the more people will understand it.
Got it. So good, well said. Here's another one from Rosconian. Interested to hear Rob and Mona's thoughts about metaverse and crypto gaming during an economic downturn. How will that be affected?
Well, I'll start with us removing the term play to earn. It's currently not possible, really. There's a few games where you can sort of do it, but nothing like we saw, you know, in many ways, Axie Infinity saved parts of the Philippines during COVID, where they couldn't work their normal jobs and they were making enough through Axie Infinity to put food on the tables. It was a lovely story, but people run with this play to earn narrative that it was unsustainable. And it's also not really what we want for games. It became GameFi, which is my most hated term in the space. I don't really know what it's getting at. But as for the metaverse, I think everything, the metaverse to me is not near anyway. I think we've got too many technological limitations for it to be something that's rolling out anytime soon. And I think it will be a gradual thing anyway. So I don't think that's going to interact with the economic downturn outside of perhaps investment. We've seen lower investment in metaverse projects this year, but still, I think it was 600 million in the last quarter. So it's certainly not low, but it's lower than it was. And gaming, crypto gaming, yeah, as I say, I think play to earn needs to just die. I can't think of a better way of expressing that. But crypto gaming will just become gaming, and it will just run in the background. But gaming suffering its own.
Don't you think? Question on that. Don't you think ownership remains though? Don't you think people really want to own their assets now within a game? And did they? Because they really didn't before, technically, right? So does the ownership of assets remain?
Yeah, well, I think it's still important to gamers, but we've now got a PR issue where it solves a problem that they had, that we've kind of just been sold that that's the way it is. You know, the game shuts down, you lose access to your items, and that's life. We've seen it with, particularly in the last few weeks, we've seen it with Call of Duty, we've seen it with Rocket League, and they're shutting down player trading and all these things that blockchain can solve if it's allowed to solve. I think it's something that players generally will enjoy and appreciate once it's there and just working, and there isn't a conversation about it. I think the hard sell is now telling people, well, if this was an NFT, that fixes it. I don't think you're just going to bang your head against the wall. I think it just needs to be shown rather than told, and that's just going to take time.
Yeah, if you had a game as quality and well liked and loved as, like, say, Fortnite or League of Legends or something like that, and you dropped in a little Web3 action there and digital collectibles, no one would say anything because the game is fun and people want to play it. And I think, to answer the Rosconian's question, is I think that games will do quite well in the downturn if the people actually want to play the game. If they don't, it's going to suck and it's going to die, just like Axie Infinity did. Because after all the VC money dried up, it was worthless to play. Who wants to grind out a game that sucks? I mean, I'm not a big gamer, but I can tell you when I play that one time, I was like, I'm not going to talk about this in the show because it's awful. And I know some people will say, well, it's a great game. That's on you. So anyhow, that's my answer.
How's Gods Unchained doing, Rob? Somebody was asking, how's Gods Unchained doing? Do you know?
Amazing is how that's doing. If you look at the trading volume for Gods Unchained, go on any website where you can track NFT collections, look at Gods Unchained. It is killing it at the moment. They're doing fantastic. It's a trading card game, a TCG on the Immutable X blockchain. It's doing very, very well.
I sold all my bags.
That was a mistake, Mona.
Somebody else is asking about security here. Is there going to be privacy or security issues regarding the metaverse? Yes. God knows we've had enough issues in the crypto industry, and we're having digital avatar identity or digital identity risk management is huge right now. And I think everyone, especially with the advance of with this convergence of AI right now, the biggest problem is chatbots. Nobody can tell if you're talking to a chatbot or a human. And with all the meetings Elon and OpenAI and Chuck Schumer, they're all having, that is number one on their agenda with AI. So is it is it mitigated? No, it's not. It's number one, it needs to be resolved. I will tell you that some of the consent issues per Metaverse case, each Metaverse is dealing with it on their own. They're putting mods in the chat rooms. They're even putting chat bot mods in the chat room to moderate what's happening, make sure everyone has consent, there's no inappropriate behavior, but digital identity security is still unresolved.
All right. So how about this one from Darth Mike? Media portrayal of NFT tech is generally monkey JPEGs and moon boys. As soon as real assets become tradable through NFTs like real net or assets, then they will become more accepted. Agree with that or a little off?
Yeah, I do agree with that. And I think there are a few industries that are steaming ahead with doing this. Two examples. I used to work in the watch industry, and plagiarism with watches, fake watches, is just an unbelievable problem, particularly because the factories that would make the real watches were also legally making the fake ones. So it's a very, very messy industry, and NFTs solve that problem. The other side of this coin is, just go back to that. That really does solve a lot of problems in a lot of industries, is stopping fraudulent copies of things. I didn't realize the wine industry had such a big problem with it, but they are also doing that. And we are starting to see people do it with real estate and land as well. It's being tied in. And then, of course, Nike has launched .swoosh, which is giving NFT counterparts to sneakers, trainers that you buy. So I think I completely agree. It is monkey JPEGs. that is how the mainstream media do portray it. Again, because they just got bored of the story of talking about people and lots of money, and so they've gone to the negative side of things. But yes, I agree. As soon as we're already tying things to NFTs, and I think that is the right first step.
Yes.
Well, rightfully so too, Rob, because there hasn't been any mainstream education, and nobody knows what a utility is in the normal world, and so the idea that an NFT technology or NFT utility can open the door to experiences is something that I doubt, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, that the mainstream audience understands. The idea that your ticket to a concert can be an NFT, and that NFT, if you're a holder of Britney Spears NFT, which could be her photo, her poster, a digital poster of Britney Spears, think of it as a membership, right? That NFT, the utility is that it will open the door to exclusive experiences for you and Britney Spears. Maybe you get her, monthly special album for special listeners, or maybe you get signed autographs. So people don't know that is a thing, right? And this idea that now artists through NFTs can have a direct relationship with their fans, mainstream audience don't understand that yet either. So it's really our own fault. We haven't really educated the audience, but absolutely, going back to the question, the audience now only see NFTs as monkey pictures, but what NFTs can do for us is open doors to experiences, and think of it as a membership.
Yep. Well, everybody, well said. We're coming up on the hour. I think that's a good place to stop it. Great information. I want to say thank you to my guests, Mona and Rob, for coming on. Again, you can find them on their socials. Links are in the description. And guys, again, thanks for coming. And of course, we'll have you back at some point.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody. So again, thank you everybody for watching the stream. If you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Everybody talk about is time sensitive. That is it. So thanks everybody. And of course, we will see you on the next one. Have a great day.